Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hi, this is William Shatner, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen to Brian Shapiro. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? It is the Vegas Take. Glad you could join us on a Tuesday, Sharp and Shapiro. Back at it. Man, it's hot out there. It's like a sauna outside. I think I got sunburned. I was out there for like 45 seconds. It's tough out there. But we got a lot to get to today.
You do look a little red today.
I'm always a little red. I'm fair-skinned. But we got a lot to get to today. Coming up in hour number 2, Ron Futrell from Channel 8 is going to be joining us. A live report from the NBA Summer League at Thomas and Mack. And there are some states that are actually beating Nevada in sports betting handles. Brett Smiley from Sports Handle himself will be joining us in hour number 2 as well. So a lot to get to. JD, you do know that Donald Trump says over and over again he only hires the best people, right? Right? I mean, he's known for that, right?
You know, I've heard him state that from time to time.
Well, I want to give you a little story today that I'm sure our listeners will enjoy. It has to do with this guy, Jeffrey Epstein. Have you heard this story? It's been the biggest news story of the last few days. He got this supposed deal of a lifetime and was required to. He's a millionaire, one of Donald Trump's buddies, required to register as a sex offender in the states where he lived, including New York. Well, it appears as though this shady financier, who's a pal of the president, he's been charged operating a sex trafficking ring in which he abused underage girls. Now, he's pleaded not guilty. Trump is sending quite the message. This is what Trump said about this guy back in 2002. He told a New York magazine, quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. Even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life." Now, Trump was asked about this guy the last few days. He said, I've never associated with him. He's on the record praising this guy, saying he hung out with the guy. So if that's not a big enough lie, the big issue here is Trump's labor secretary, Alex Acosta, not to be confused with Jim Acosta, by the way. You know, Trump's labor secretary, he's in trouble in Florida for his role in helping Epstein avoid accountability. He was then a prosecutor. He gave Epstein a lenient plea deal that was kept secret from his victims. A federal judge found that Acosta and his team broke the law, but that hasn't meant any consequences for Acosta in his current job thus far. Now, Democrats want this guy gone. And by the way, I don't blame them. It's just getting stranger and stranger. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office agreed with Epstein's team when the case went before the Manhattan Supreme Court in January 2011. The prosecutor asked that Epstein be labeled a level 1 sex offender. That argument drew pointed questions from Judge Ruth Pickholtz, who said she had never seen the prosecutor's office make such a downward argument like that. And then the DA's office said the argument was a mistake based on a legal misunderstanding. So here we got this guy who was a pedophile, who was a sex offender, just a horrible guy that belongs behind bars. And now Trump's labor secretary, Alex Acosta, is in the middle of this because he got this guy off. And now he's back at it again, allegedly involved in a sex trafficking ring in which he abused underage girls.
He did it again.
Yeah.
He did it again.
Here in the United States, Trump backed a candidate for United States Senate, Roy Moore. I'm trying to give you a little history on Donald Trump. Roy Moore was accused of sexually preying on teenage girls, if you recall. Doesn't end there. White House aide Rob Porter resigned in disgrace after both of his ex-wives came forward to say he abused them. One of his ex-wives said, quote, "He threw me down on the bed, punched me in the face." Let's not forget about Steve Bannon, who faced charges of misdemeanor domestic violence and battery against his wife back in 1996. David Sorensen, a speechwriter and aide to Stephen Miller, was also accused of domestic violence, including running his then-wife's foot over with a car and burning her with a cigarette. Remember that Donald Trump himself stands accused of a long list of sexual misdeeds. Barging into the dressing room of teenage beauty contestants, to groping a woman on an airplane, to a credible accusation of rape made less than a month ago, to bragging about grabbing women by the genitals. Why do I bring this up? Well, there's a long list here. The long list here. And I got to tell you right now, all this evidence is going to be put forth. Eventually, we are going to figure out why Alex Acosta wanted this guy give this guy a slap on the wrist. I wonder if one of his young daughters, God forbid, that this guy was targeting, then what would happen? Now, I want to hear from Trump supporters out there. What do you think about this? Do you agree with Democrats that this guy Acosta should immediately be fired? How could you not? We've seen enough evidence come out already. Remember, Trump has praised this guy Epstein, and even today has praised Alex Acosta. I'll give out the phone number. I want to know what you guys think out there. The number to call, 702-257-5396. Again, the number to call, 702-257-5396. Now, JD, I know that you're a Trump supporter. This has got to bother you. It bothers plenty of Republicans out there, but are they man enough to speak out on it?
Are you trying to tell me what I should and shouldn't be thinking, Brian?
No, I'm trying.
Are you sure?
No,
This has to bother me.
Does it not? You tell me. I'd be shocked if you said it didn't bother you. This guy Epstein is a sex offender. He's a pedophile.
He's also he's a billionaire, not a millionaire.
Did I say millionaire?
You said millionaire.
Okay.
Until there's solid proof that Trump was actively involved with this guy in his ring of whatever ring it was.
Yeah.
I can't really pass much judgment. Obviously, does he know who he is? Yes. Was he associated with him at some point? Yes. Does that mean he was directly involved in this? No. So until I know that for a fact, I'm not going to assume that he was.
Here's what we do know for a fact. Alex Acosta was directly involved in it. Yes, he was. He's now Trump's labor secretary. I'm not saying Donald Trump was involved in it. He certainly knew this guy Epstein. He certainly said some nice things about him, including he likes younger women. So Trump certainly knew a little bit about this guy. But Alex Acosta is involved in this.
Yeah, but recognizing the fact and observing the fact that he likes younger women doesn't mean he was directly involved in what he was doing.
But the point I'm trying to make is that Donald Trump's labor secretary, Alex Acosta, is mainly responsible for letting this guy off. And we need to find out why.
And I'm sure we will find out why.
All right, 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, guys. I'd be very cautious if I was a Democrat right now, particularly if my name's Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton flew to Lolita Island with Mr. Epstein.
I know the whole story.
Times that we know about.
I know the whole story.
Hillary Clinton went there 6 times. And one of the times, or 2 of the times, supposedly he dismissed the Secret Service.
I know the whole story. I
him,
understand.
Right?
You know why I haven't brought up the Clintons, Brian? Do you know why I haven't brought up their name? I'll tell you why. Because they are not in office.
Beat up on Trump.
No, you're absolutely 100% wrong. The Clintons are not in office.
He likes to beat up on the president of the United States.
No.
Exactly
and it just
right.
happens to be Donald Trump right now.
You both couldn't be more wrong. I'll tell you why. Because the only person that can do something about this right now is the president of the United States. Because last I checked, Alex Acosta could be fired if the president says you're fired, Mr. Apprentice himself. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they don't have the power to do that. But guess who does? Donald Trump.
The Clinton Foundation.
All you want to do is talk about Bill Clinton.
Jeffrey Epstein.
And you know what?
He's responsible for hundreds.
Okay, so what do you want me to say?
Millions of dollars flowing to the Clinton Foundation.
Okay, so let me be clear.
Mr. Epstein. Now let me talk to you about Mr. Acosta. Mr. Acosta explained when he was going for his confirmation hearings that the local authorities blew the case on Epstein so bad he salvaged it as best he could to get something against him so that he could be prosecuted. So we don't know all of the story yet.
Okay.
All we know is people like Chucky Boy Schumer and some big Democrats screaming for blood before we know the whole story.
What do you mean we don't know the whole story? What are you talking about? There's plenty of evidence that have come forward.
Reports from 1 or 2 sources. You haven't heard from other sources that are saying exactly.
All right, then I'll make a bet. Then I'll make a bet with you on the air right now. Okay, that this guy should have been a level 3 sex.
I do like a good wager.
This guy should have been a level 3 sex.
What's the wager here? What are we wagering?
Well, before we decide what we're wagering, let me say what the bet is.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guarantee you that when all the evidence is put forward, this guy should have been a level 3 sex offender, and they tried to get him. This guy Acosta tried to get him as a level 1. I guarantee you, when all the evidence comes forward, Brian, every prosecutor that's not biased would have put him at a level 3. Would you like to make a bet on that?
As I already told you, if you've got a case that's already a steaming pile of dog doo, and you try to put best salt and pepper on it that you can to get this guy for as much as you can, that's a whole lot different than dropping him down to a level 1 because you're sympathetic towards him. We have not seen evidence of that anywhere.
All right, I'll tell you what.
Brian.
Let's revisit this. I can't wait for the evidence to come forward, Brian, and I appreciate the call as always. Thank you very much.
I want to know if Jeffrey Epstein and Bryan Singer were in any way attached to each other.
Yeah,
I'm kind of getting I'm getting very, very similar vibes.
I don't know.
They operated.
I don't know an answer to that. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Timothy. Timothy, you are next on the Vegas Take. How are you?
Mr. Shapiro gets annoyed every time I bleep and call, but Mr. Sharp gets bleep and energized. And maybe Mr. Shapiro.
Can we please do a favor and get this bleeping guy off the air? Thank you very much. Thank you for the call, Timothy.
Tim, yesterday you were, I think, Norm. Day before you were
I don't know.
Ichabod, something like that.
I don't know. The guy likes to change his name.
I really appreciate you calling in. Please continue to do so.
257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Jose. Jose, thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hi, Jose.
Hey, buddy, I just want to keep it simple. Don't blame the Trump supporters. It's the major media outlets that have lied to the American people so much that nobody has credibility on any breaking story, buddy.
Okay, well,
they
Jose.
lied about Mueller. They lied about Kavanaugh. They lied about Clinton winning the election.
Jose.
Now nobody believes the media.
Jose, hold on. Hang on a second. Where have I blamed Trump supporters in this conversation the first 10 minutes? Have I blamed Trump supporters? I don't know where you're getting that from.
You've stated on several occasions that you just cannot understand or comprehend how anybody could support Donald Trump.
When did I say that? When did I say that?
I've heard you say
Show me the tape. Show me the tape where I said I can't. Oh, no, don't oh goodness me. Listen, I understand. Excuse me. I understand why people voted for Donald Trump. Never have I ever said, JD, have I ever said I don't understand how anyone could have voted for Donald Trump? I have never said that. Hillary Clinton was a horrible candidate.
What you do consistently say.
So bad about Trump? Answer me that.
You do consistently say.
Okay, I can't hear two people at once, Jose, so how about be quiet for 10 seconds and let my co-host talk? Thank you.
So what he does consistently say is whenever Trump does something heinous, he says, I can't understand, or it would totally shock me, or I can't believe how a Trump supporter isn't affected negatively by this or doesn't think that this is a bad thing.
I agree with that.
He does say that on a pretty consistent basis. And he actually said it once a day already.
And I understand, Jose.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
He's correcting what you said, Jose. You're not correct. I understand why people voted for Hillary. I understand why people voted for Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton was a very, very bad candidate. She did not campaign well. I didn't vote for her. So go ahead, Jose.
They voted for Donald Trump because they want to make America great again.
Okay, the majority of excuse me,
working Americans.
The majority of people in this country voted for Hillary Clinton. Have you ever heard of something called the popular vote?
Have you heard of illegal votes?
Show me the proof. Okay, so show me the proof of that, Mr. Right-wing conspiracist. Show me the proof of that. Show me the proof that millions of people illegally voted for Hillary Clinton, Mr. Right-wing conspiracist.
Excuse me, Trump is trying to get that proof. But
he's trying. He's trying to. Okay. He's trying to. Okay. Sure. Okay, Jose. I'll give you that. 3 million people illegally voted for Hillary Clinton. Okay, you're absolutely right. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Let's move on now to actually the subject that I was actually talking about, which I hope bothers you because it bothers me. Trump's labor secretary, Alex Acosta. Does that bother you at all?
No, because it's the media, and
Shocker.
the media can't be trusted.
Okay, so it's the media. Why. So it's the media that got this guy Epstein off 10 years ago. Is that what you're saying, Jose?
No, it's the media constantly lying that people like you that are good people have zero credibility.
Oh, really? Why do I have zero? Really? Why do I just asked you about Epstein. I'm trying to stick to the subject, and you keep talking about the media. I'm going to ask you one more time. Well, hold on a second. Take a deep breath. Take a right-wing deep breath. I'm going to ask you one more time.
I'm a Democrat, sir.
Okay, well, I don't care what you are, really. I was just making a joke. But to be honest,
my right lung is very relaxed right now.
Okay, well, Trump's labor secretary, Alex Acosta, getting this guy Epstein off, who is a pedophile, who belongs behind bars. Yes or no? This has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. It's an easy question. Do you have a problem with that? Yes or no?
I will give you I will answer you directly, and I'm not going to skate out of it.
Okay, I'm waiting.
It is wrong. Listen, let me finish. You're right. It is wrong that someone like that would be let go and given a pass. You are absolutely
was
right.
that so hard for you to be intellectually honest, Jose? Was that so hard?
No,
that wasn't so hard, was it?
All I'm saying, though, is that we've heard so many bad stories, so many false reports that how do the American people know what to believe anymore?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. You said I have zero credibility. What is one false report in the history of the show that I've ever put out there?
not you specifically. I'm talking in general terms, the media.
Okay.
You are associated by default with the media. Doesn't mean it's directed at you.
Okay.
But when the media constantly bashes Trump,
Can I ask you a
the
question?
people see it.
Can I ask you a question? And I'm keeping you on here because this is an important question. Has Fox News in 8 years ever put out a false story about Barack Obama?
I'm sure they absolutely have.
Okay,
You're right about that. I'm sure that's a given.
Then Jose, I appreciate your intellectual honesty, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. I got to get to some other calls, okay, buddy?
All right, roger that, buddy. Have a good night.
All
Be
right,
safe. Be
thank
well.
you. Thank you for the call, Jose. I appreciate that. 257-5396 is the number to call. I believe Kelly is the next caller. Kelly, how's it going? Kelly, are you there?
Yes, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Could you come back to me next?
Well, it's your show, Kelly, so I'll do whatever you want. Okay.
I appreciate
that. All right. We'll take the next caller. 257-5396. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, apparently it's only when it's only convenient for someone to talk on the radio. Ryan, what's going on? Are you there? I hope you're there, Ryan.
Yeah.
All right. What's up, Ryan?
I was wondering if you guys knew who Acosta's boss was when he made that decision, because he had to get it approved.
That's a very, very valid question. You know what, Ryan? I'm going to look into that because you know what? His boss is probably just as responsible, right?
I know who it is, though.
Who is it?
You're not going to believe it.
Who is it?
Robert Mueller.
Is that the case? Listen, if that's true, I don't know. I don't know, Ryan, exactly how that works. I don't know if his boss looks at every single case thoroughly, but I bet you if Mueller was his boss, and you're being honest with me, I would imagine you are. Then look, this falls on Robert Mueller as well. I agree. It's not good. It doesn't make Robert Mueller look good in this situation. I agree with you.
Not great timing either, especially when he's about to testify.
Yeah.
On behalf of the quote-unquote report.
Yeah. Ryan, I'll tell you what, my friend, I'm going to look a little bit more into that because that's a valid point you make. And if Robert Mueller was his boss, boy, this doesn't look good for Robert Mueller.
Yeah,
Ryan,
I believe he was the FBI director at the time, so he was
okay.
like the top cop.
Well, we'll look into that, Ryan. That's a very valid point you made, and I appreciate the call. Thank you very much, Ryan, for that one. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to JD. JD, you're next on the Vegas Take. How are you?
Hey, JD.
Doing great, guys, but getting better. How did I know you were going to talk about this? You just, in the last
maybe because it's the biggest news story of the day. Maybe that's how you knew. I mean, you have, JD, you have a future of being a fantastic poker player. That's an incredible read. Usually we do talk about the biggest news story of the day. This is obviously the biggest news story of the day. You don't think we should talk about this?
No. Just an aside. You just stated to the last caller that Acosta let him get off. Acosta did not let him get off, as Brian told you.
Acosta, that's not true. Acosta was responsible for trying to get him to be a level 1 sex offender.
The case was botched, and he explained everything during his confirmation hearing.
Not true. That's not true. You're not being factually accurate. No, it's not.
Tape. Brian, I saw the tape of his confirmation hearing.
Okay, so I'm going to say something very clear right now, and let's see if you could give me an answer. Acosta was one of the people responsible for trying to get this guy as a level 1 sex offender when not one logical human being thought he should have been a level 1. He should have been a level 3. How do you explain that, JD?
Well, he was number 1 put on the registry as a sex offender,
and all the evidence points towards the fact that was not even close to being correct. Now, tell me why, and do you have a problem with that?
Do I have a problem with what?
The fact that they pushed for him to be a level 1 sex offender. That's the root of this story. He would be in jail right now if they did their job a decade ago.
Again, we're arguing semantics.
No, we're not. We're not
already talked about how the case was botched. Number 2, in reference to Trump, before we end this call, he admonished Epstein 20 years ago after the statement that he made. It
was actually 15.
And he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. He wouldn't let him come back there.
Mar-a-Lago, and it was actually 15 years ago, not 20 years ago. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Just trying to get the facts right. That's all, JD.
So he cut his ties with him 15 years ago in Mar-a-Lago.
But he also said he didn't know, he never hung out with the guy, and that's a complete lie based on quotes he said in the past.
This is a desperation.
No, it's not. No, it's not a desperation.
They haven't got a spit on Trump, so now this is a different.
Let me ask you a question, JD. God forbid if you had a 14 or 15-year-old daughter that was being sexually preyed upon by this guy, would you react the same way? Would you say this is just desperate? This guy should be just a level 1 sex offender. He should be out on the streets. JD, would you have the same response, buddy?
I'd shoot him.
You'd shoot. Okay, well, I don't think that's legal, but I can appreciate.
I wouldn't care what my consequences were.
All right. Listen, JD, I always appreciate hearing from you, my friend. Thank you for the call, even though we usually do disagree. 257-5396. John, I believe John is next. Thank you for calling in. How are you?
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you calling in, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. As a father of 3 daughters, I think this guy is the lowest of low. And,
Agree.
I would like to see exactly what happened with this case. But, yeah, I agree. I think he should be chemically castrated and the key thrown away. That's my take.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree on that one. So if you had a chance to talk to Trump Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, and by the way, Donald Trump does say he only hires the best people. If you had a chance to sit right next to Acosta as a father, John, what would you say to this guy?
I would ask how he failed the victims and how he can live with himself. And again, if people messed up on this case,
right.
Are they still employed? Were they fired?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know all the facts.
Yeah, I would too, John, and I think we're going to get more facts coming out. I do appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you so much. As far as that castration thing goes, JD, I don't know if we want to be like other countries, but I can tell you what, if we did have a rule like that and DNA proved it with pedophiles and rapists, I can guarantee you they would probably be less of those crimes out there.
And I agree even more because this guy leveraged his wealth and his power to do what he did, so which I think is much worse than anything else.
Yeah.
Just like R. Kelly did, just like Bill Cosby did. I have no problem with castration or whatever type of horrible, inhumane treatment because, in my opinion, they're not humans.
And I am,
that's animal stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I am very comfortable in saying this, that if this man did not have a lot of money, maybe if his skin color was different, do you really think this guy would have gotten this dream deal? Deal of a lifetime is what they're calling it.
Well, obviously he had friends in high places, and we'll just see how high and who's the one that pulled the strings. And if it was Mueller, this is really bad timing for him.
I don't think it was Mueller.
And if it was Mueller,
it's not Mueller.
This could be Trump's doing.
It's definitely not Mueller.
Okay.
Mueller may have never seen this case. It certainly lies on the hands, at least with Alex Acosta, who I believe within the next 48 hours is going to be fired.
And there's a good chance that there's some type of large wire in his account in the last 20 or 30 years from a company connected to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
There's definitely a good chance of that, and we'll see.
We're gonna get more into this, and we're gonna hear about more evidence. So let's take some more phone calls at 257-5396. I believe Neil is next. Neil, thank you for calling in. How are you?
Brian, I need about 30 minutes to talk about all the topics I'd like to air out.
Unfortunately, I can't give you 30 minutes.
You've got about 150 seconds.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, listen, first of all, just a question.
Yes.
How much is this guy worth? What is he, $38 billion?
He's got a lot of money, Neil. He's loaded. He's got a lot of money.
That's a lot of cash.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I could use a few bucks.
All
Yeah.
right. Listen, what I find curious, all right, is the fact he did get such a sweetheart.
Wait, Neil, hold on. Let me stop you for 1 second. Our program director is in the building, and he just said you can buy 30 minutes of airtime if you'd like. Are you interested in that, Neil?
What, is it going to cost me $38 billion? I'm not.
No, I'll give you 50% off. What do you think about that?
Maybe I have to check my checkbook.
Neil.
And Neil, his net worth is $2 billion.
Okay,
which is still 2,000 million. Plenty of money.
Go ahead, Neil.
bad.
Sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I just find it interesting that, it's about Epstein, all right, and his acts. It suddenly turned into, an accusation, a trial against Acosta. All right, maybe bungled the case. But
I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way, bungling a case. When the evidence is overwhelming, and we have a lot of the evidence, when it's overwhelming that this guy was a level 3 sex offender, that he should have gone to jail for a long time, to me that's not, when you lock your keys in your car, I made a mistake. That's an honest mistake, right? This is different. This is different. It's not like he misplaced some evidence or he didn't do his homework. No, he knew exactly. Acosta, I'm telling you, Neil, when all this stuff comes out, there's got to be money involved. There's something involved here. There's corruption involved, Neil. I'm telling you, it smells as corruption.
Brian, you asked me if his color was, if he was, African American, or whatever. If his color was different, if he would have got the sweetheart deal, yes, because the only color that matters here is green.
Yeah.
Brian,
money talks.
He needs to resign. I don't see why he should wait. Just resign.
I agree.
Get it over with.
Neil, we are in agreement.
I would like to know what Robert Mueller's involvement would be.
And Neil, that is
I'm also very curious about that.
That is a very good question, Neil. I appreciate the call, and we're going to find out. I mean, it's a possibility that Mueller never saw this case. I bet you he's going to look it over now, or he'll try to find out in any way he can. Let's go to Kelly. Kelly, are you ready for us?
It's been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You ready to go?
Sorry, I was in the drive-thru at picking up some dinner.
That sounds a lot more important than our show.
Was it Arby's?
No, it was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Trump's favorite place to go. What a shocker.
Cool.
All right. Okay, Kelly, what do you think about this story? What's going on?
Well, if let's deal with Acosta first. If anything, if he did anything wrong,
Mm-hmm.
Illegal or took bribes, well then yes, he should be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But if, like a lot of people are saying, the police or investigators bungled, improperly handled evidence or whatever, well, then there's only so much you can do as a lawyer, in prosecuting. Just look at the.
Well, the DA's office is saying that it was a legal misunderstanding, which is a bunch of baloney. We all know that. Listen, if there was a huge mistake that was made, an honest misunderstanding, we would have heard by now. When they say it was just a legal misunderstanding, that leads me to believe one thing. This guy was a powerful guy with a lot of money, and some type of corruption happened, Kelly. I mean, it's pretty obvious to look at.
Well,
come on.
What I'm thinking happened, is obviously, this guy's a huge donor to the Clintons, the foundations, the Clinton Global Initiative, everything. He probably greased some wheels, and Hillary or Bill made one phone call.
Okay, but here's the thing, Kelly. Let's just hypothetically say you're right. The bottom line is Trump's labor secretary is Alex Acosta. The labor secretary is not Bill Clinton. It's not Hillary Clinton.
Right.
They're
I
both.
understand that.
Okay, so my concern and your
should.
Right, but my concern and your concern should be about this guy, Alex Acosta. He should resign.
Why? If
Why?
he didn't do anything wrong.
Have you seen the evidence that has come out today? It's overwhelming that this guy effed up in a big way. It's overwhelming. Have you not seen it?
Well, I'd have to take a look then, because from what I've read, there isn't anything the guy did that was illegal.
Okay, I'm gonna make a wager with you. Within 30 days, this guy Acosta is no longer Trump's labor secretary. Will you take that bet? I'll wear a MAGA hat. In return, you have to wear a Pete Buttigieg shirt and take a picture and put it on my Vegas Take page. Okay?
I'd rather die.
You'd rather die. Wow. Well, so are you going to take the bet or no? Listen, if you win the bet, I will wear a MAGA hat, I will tweet it out, and I will tag you. If you lose, you're wearing a Pete Buttigieg hat or shirt.
How about Marianne Williamson?
Yes or no, Kelly?
I like her.
Okay,
her.
We'll go with
she's
that
all
one.
into the spiritual thing.
Do we have a bet?
You're going to lose this bet. I don't want you to die.
Sure.
Oh,
Why
I love
not?
it. Okay, Kelly, that's a radio handshake. You've already lost one bet with me. Now you're about to lose another one. Thank you for the call. I only got about 45 seconds for you, Mike, but I'm going to take your call real quick. Mike, what's going on?
Good evening, gentlemen. You're right. He won't make 10 working days.
I agree.
Yeah, he's done.
And Trump is a glorified old school Democrat, in my opinion. I think Republicans and Democrats both are bums, and I think Acosta is a flanking move to buy time. The attention has been detoured from the perpetrator to some little puppet who's, he's got a supervisor. Who was the president, Bush or Obama, in 2008 when this happened, Brian?
There you go. Mike, as far as I'm concerned, my friend, that is the call of the day.
And the answer is Barack Obama.
Mike, really good to hear from you. I appreciate that. And you're right. But at the same time, we're going to get more evidence. We're going to get more information. We'll bring it out to you. And we will continue this story and others on the other side of the break. Also, a crazy story coming up next. Ocasio-Cortez is being sued for blocking people on Twitter. Folks, you just cannot make this story up. It is unbelievable. We will get to that. Ron Futrell coming up at the top of the hour. A live report from NBA Summer League from Channel 8. And Brett Smiley from Sports Handle in hour number 2 will be joining us as well. So stay tuned for that. We're going to continue this story on the other side of the break, too, and take your calls at 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the program. 257-5396. It's the Vegas Take. We'll be back right after this.